Welcome, everybody. We're here, season 2, of Spitball Cinema. To celebrate our first episode for season 2, we have a special guest star here on our show. Special guest star, what is your name?
My name's Peyton.
Peyton, everybody.
Or
Thank you. I'm either called Frost or Frosty, because that is my last name.
Nice. Don't say that.
Which would you prefer?
I'm so used to Frosty, if that's fine.
Frosty?
We got
That's what all my
Frosty.
friends call me.
Okay.
Cool.
That's my favorite snowman.
Yeah.
That's the only famous snowman. So,
It's one of my favorite lines of Aliens.
No, there's the.
I know, one of the top famous ones. Okay, I'll be more specific.
But yeah, so Shane is back from a special assignment.
Yeah, so
off the short bus and recovering from stomach flu.
and I'm
So-
Scott, and Frosty over here is my little cousin. So we welcome her to
That's
Spitball
right.
Cinema's second season.
That's right. I'm Dave. Got to throw my name in there, I
I
guess.
thought you already did, but
I don't
No,
remember.
who cares?
Yeah.
anyway,
He's kind of a light guy.
since
Yeah.
Peyton is our special guest, we have her choosing 2 movies, and for tonight's episode, she has chosen
The Black Phone.
The Black Phone.
Wow.
Which was a damn good suggestion.
Very.
Yes.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Yes,
very
it was
good.
very. I was pleasantly surprised because I didn't know how it was going to go. you
Yeah.
know.
Wow, did you really think my suggestion was that bad?
You're a kid, you know.
Oh, lovely.
We thought you were going to pick Wicked or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Thank you.
No.
Well,
I haven't even seen that, so.
Okay.
So curious, Peyton, why did you pick The Black Phone out of 100 years of movies? Why this one?
Well, I went to actual theaters to watch this when it first came out, and when I watched it, I didn't know what to expect. I had seen the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, I like horror, I like thriller, I like all this stuff, and I'm like,
Hey, Peyton, bring it down.
Oh.
Okay? Calm
Would
down.
you stop it?
Calm down, okay?
You
No, no.
Yeah, you're,
I'm just messing with
Throw
you.
your
yeah.
glass.
I'm
Well,
just
see,
messing
when the
with
volume's up, it causes this ringing in the room.
No.
I was just doing
How would you know, Mr. Special Assignment?
Yeah, I'm just teasing you.
Ignore
Go ahead.
him.
I'm sorry.
Throw your
I
glass.
don't
ahead.
even know where I
Yeah.
was at now.
All right,
You saw
we're
the
talking about going to
theaters.
the movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
talking about
I
The
went
Black
to
Phone.
see it, and I don't know. I think it just stuck with me. Because I was like,
Yeah.
this, I think, is my favorite movie of the year. I mean, the story, really good. I mean, if it's to the point where Stephen King says, hey, this is amazing, I think that just says something.
Can we pause right there?
Yes.
What did we find out
Do
today?
you know who wrote The Black Phone?
Hmm.
It's an author by the name of Joe Hill. Do you know who Joe Hill is?
Probably not. I'm so bad with
It's
names.
a pseudonym.
It's a pseudonym. It's Stephen King's son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wrote The Black
The Black
Phone.
Phone. It was a short story, but he wrote it.
He wrote it.
Wow.
And we didn't know it either.
Because we were talking
Yeah.
about it before you came over, and we were like, who wrote this movie? And then I Googled it, and bada boom.
And like Joe Hill, and we were like, Joe Hill, and then Stephen King. What? I don't.
Because we saw the picture of Joe Hill,
Yeah.
and then we scrolled up a little bit, and it said, Father Stephen King.
Stephen
Oh,
King.
yeah.
So
Oh, darn.
I was like, I
Yeah.
would have never guessed, though the writing is really good. So
Yeah.
maybe that should have hinted it off.
Oh, yeah.
slightly.
Yeah.
So what did you think of it, Shane?
Oh, I thought it was really good. But actually, if you don't mind, Peyton, I had a question that I wanted to ask you because with all the streaming media now,
Yeah.
you being a younger person, do you prefer to see movies in theaters or do you prefer to see them at home or do you have a preference?
Yeah, I think I actually like going off to the movies a little bit better. Just because, I mean, I've been doing that obviously since I was a kid. So, and that's for most of us, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I like the movies better. It gives more of an experience than just like being at home. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Oh,
I
yeah,
wish I
yeah,
would have
yeah.
saw this
Oh,
in the
yeah.
theater. I mean, it would add to the creepiness of the big screen and
Oh, the sound.
Oh
and
my
everything, yeah.
gosh!
Yeah.
Well, I was watching it on my soundbar, and it was like going behind my head, and it was creeping me out.
Right.
Oh man!
Well, I was just curious because that is one
Yeah.
of the things, and that's one of those big topics of discussion these days. Is is it the
Yeah.
death of the cinema? And is it so much that people are not going to the cinema for the cinema experience, or is it the fact that a lot of movies these days just aren't worth going to? And so, that I think that is part of the discussion that doesn't get brought up.
I think depending on there have been some years that I really regretted going to see the movies because it was like a lot of them just sucked.
Yeah.
But so I think it's like a 50-50 ratio where it's like either they just don't want to go out, some people, or it's just like the movie's not worth seeing. So I see both points of it, but regardless, I would prefer to go to the movies even if the movie was crappy.
Yeah, I think I went and saw Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and I walked out of that and I was just sad. And it seems to me that the best movies that are being released in cinemas right now are horror flicks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that have the best writing. They're not pushing agendas. They're typically apolitical. They don't care. But a lot of the better movies have been horror movies these days. And which is why when this one kind of went by and I didn't think anything of it, and then when I actually did get around to watching it, I had noticed that it had popped up in a couple of different movie reviewers that I really respect and like. It's in their top tens for the year, and I was just like, okay, this is great. And so I wound up renting it. I'm going to wind up buying it. I love I love physical media, so it's one I'm going to purchase.
They just put it out on 4K discs.
Well, there you go.
The
Perfect.
Black Phone came out on 4K? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that seems interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I was reading the other day that the Black Phone Part 2 is coming out in October of this year. October 17th.
Really?
Yeah, and
Right before Halloween.
I'm going to be so real with you. I don't know how they're going to do that because they've killed the grabber. It's not like, oh, he fled, yada yada. And I'm sorry for spoilers for anyone, obviously.
Yeah, spoilers.
If you're listening to this, you should expect spoilers.
Yeah, that's it for this episode.
All right, so thank you, everybody. No.
just kidding.
Well, but it does make me wonder if it's not that, because I could actually see where you could get some sequels in there if he's the one on the phone.
You could
now it's a different type of a thing.
You could even go back further when he first started doing this. This may not be the first group of kids he took.
Oh, I didn't think about that. If they do, I'm not trying to interrupt. I'm sorry. If they do that, I think that will be very interesting.
Or they could go into his life and figure out, maybe something had happened to him when he was younger.
Yeah, he could have been someone in that situation.
And now he's doing it.
That would be an interesting thing.
They can do a lot here, I think.
It's just my problem with sequels sometimes is that they should have just kept it at one.
Yeah.
Well, it made money, and people are talking about it, so that's why.
But some people, sometimes though, when people make remakes or sequels, it's just for a quick cash grab.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Look at Disney. I mean, look what they're doing.
Oh,
they're just
God.
redoing it over and over again.
Right.
Well, I think a good one is the Joker. They did the Joker, and then they did the Joker doo-doo or whatever with Lady Gaga. And that was just, I did not go because I enjoyed the first one for what it was, and I wanted it to leave it alone. So, if it was something like Black Phone, which I really do enjoy, if it's not being written by the same person, if it's not the same director, I'm probably going to give it a pass until I find out if it's worth seeing or not.
It is the same director.
I think it's
same
okay,
same writer.
because they also had, as cast members, they had Ethan Hawke coming back.
Okay.
Which this performance by Ethan Hawke, I've never seen him play a character like this before.
We can't miss that.
I mean, we kind of grew up, watching Ethan Hawke.
him. I mean, we should have saw once Ethan Hawke was on the cover. We should have went and saw it in the theater like she did.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize he was in it, and then for him to be playing this character like this was a real eye opener to me. I was really shocked at the way, you don't see him playing a character like this ever.
Well, now, one thing, we kind of normally, we talk about movies that have been out for a while. We don't normally talk about new things and new reviews. So should we kind of do a synopsis of the film itself?
Just a quick
Or do we want to kind of talk about it in chronological order or sequential order?
I think we just keep going like we're going.
Yeah.
Let's not think about it. Let's just talk about it.
For those of you out there who haven't seen it, go see it, and then maybe come back and listen to the podcast after you watch it, because it is one of the best movies.
I mean, we can give it a little bit. I mean, it's set in the 70s, which I think
1978, which was,
they captured it good.
I think it was very. I mean, it brought back memories from when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
You know?
It's like how Dazed and Confused caught the 70s.
But even
good.
You know,
That's
even
how they
like
do
when
good in this movie.
the kid was playing baseball, you know, the little things like at the end of the game, they're walking through in a line and everybody's going, good game, good game. We did that at the end of every game on the ball field, you know. And I remember riding bikes and playing baseball and doing that's what
playing
you did.
the arcade games at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly. We never went inside until it was like 9 o'clock at night, until it got dark. I mean, we didn't stay inside and play video games. So we were out playing ball, kickball, hide and go seek, whatever, you know.
Which is kind of interesting because, you know, Peyton suggested we talk about It, which is the other movie that we're going to talk about. But one of the things that does carry over is that bully aspect. You know, you've got the bullies.
You know, Shane, we weren't even bringing up It yet.
No, I know.
This is the black phone. We're not talking It.
Have you noticed
we
that
haven't even suggested
the sister
it.
Dressed like that kid from It
Uh-huh.
at the end, at the yellow rain jacket?
Yeah. We're not even
She had
bringing
the red shoes.
But the difference is, what was funny was I had, because my wife was watching it, and she was she was like,
oh no,
she's like, these people are like horrible. I can't believe people are like bullying like this. This is something else. And I'm just like,
That's how
no, that was actually kind of normal.
Yeah, that's...
I mean,
Are you talking about Black Phone or are you talking about It?
Black Phone or It,
okay.
because they
Right.
really do lean into the bully aspect of it.
I would
because
say-
you've got some real shitty kids.
Okay.
in Black Phone.
Why did we bring up It? I mean, we're doing Black Phone.
maybe just like
You
the
know, that's
compares.
for another episode.
Oh,
You know,
I'm
what's the matter with
sorry.
you?
I'm sorry.
You come in and then you're saying, which way should we go?
hey, he was
How
on a
should we do
special
this?
assignment.
I mean,
I know.
I mean,
Go on
should we do
special
this?
assignment, I come
Should we
back
do
and
that?
I
I mean,
listen to this
what's wrong with
cocksucker in
him?
his mouth.
What's wrong with it? Should we do this? Should we do that? Should we go
Anyway.
in Concord?
All right,
Just-
I think
the point
why
is
he,
the bully aspect of the film
Okay.
and the
Black
abuse and I mean, when you came home, you got the belt. The belt was not an unknown thing
Yeah.
back then. You got your ass.
Doesn't matter if you're a
beat.
boy or a girl, you get your
Exactly.
bit.
And so there's a lot of people today who look at that and they're like, "Wow, that's crazy. That's like way over the top." But honestly, it wasn't. It wasn't that
That was
out of the
normal.
norm at that time. And
I mean,
that
he
really
was a little harsh. I mean, he was.
Well, he was
alcoholic.
alcoholic.
Because he's an alcoholic.
alcoholic,
Yeah.
just lost his wife.
And yeah, but at the same time, he's beating that.
I would say it's no excuse.
Beating that girl just because she has some kind of psychic ability where she's having these dreams
I would say,
and they're coming true. And I thought it was a little. I mean, yeah, that shit happened.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
I think why they did it was because the mother had the similar thing,
Right.
and if I remember correctly, it wasn't really the thing that killed her. It was like didn't they like send her off? I'm pretty sure somewhere, and then she ended up dying or something.
well.
Did it really say? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
No, he
No, no,
eventually
he said that
eventually
she-
says that she listened to the voices and the voices told her to kill herself.
Oh, okay,
Ah, okay.
yeah, I
and
remember.
that's why he didn't want her to
Hard
do
to
that.
do it.
Yeah. So, and we're talking about the father. It's really the story is the daughter and her brother, and
Yeah.
those are kind of the main two. And the brother's kind of a average kid, but he doesn't stick up for himself. He doesn't, you know, he's just kind of a scared kid at heart.
Mhm.
Conflict avoidance, you know, and you know he's got the bullies. He's doing all these things. You know, he's just awkward kid. But his sister does have those visions, and she, you know, the things that she sees in her dreams are coming true, which is like a black balloons
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. And
Well, and
basically, it gets back to
Yeah.
the police with all these kids that are missing. That there's these black balloons involved, and so when they go to question her, that's when the father gets upset.
well, she told Bruce, the Asian kid that disappeared. She told his sister about her dream,
yeah,
and then she told the police because they're investigating his disappearance.
yeah.
And the police are like, "How did she know there was black balloons at the scene of the crime?" And then
And they never
so
like disclosed that
they
to
went
anyone.
they went to the dad's work, and he just
Yeah, he snapped.
he had a meltdown over it.
But you know what they set up the
After a
family
few cocktails.
dynamic in the film. The family dynamic was set really, really well because the first time that you meet the father, he's waking up in the morning and he doesn't want to hear any sound because he's got that hangover. You know, but they don't just tell you that he's got a hangover. You realize that they're tiptoeing around him, that they're scared of him, and you know you figure it out on your own, which I love. Anymore, everyone does movies, and the writing is, here is the backstory, here is the information on this character, but you learn so much about that family dynamic just by the scene and how they interact with each other, and the way that the two siblings look out for each other and make a point of, you know, hey, I'm taking care of dad tonight. You know, I'm doing this. You know, so you know that they care for each other. They care about their dad, but at the same time, they're scared of him.
Exactly.
You know? And it's that fear dynamic that carries over.
Well, he was a ticking time bomb. You didn't know which way he was going to go.
Oh,
he could be a loving dad at 1 minute, and then the next he's blowing up, beating him with the belt.
Yeah.
You know? And you know who that guy is that played the dad? He was in Saving Private Ryan. He was the journalist kid, the one that was scared to go up there when the German guy's stabbing the guy.
We're talking about.
Oh, that's it.
We're talking about Black Phone here.
Yeah, but this actor was in that.
We're not talking about Saving Private Ryan.
Well, none of these people, as far as I know,
what the
were
fuck
in
does this
it.
have to do with Saving Private Ryan?
Because this actor was in
Are
that.
we talking about Saving Private Ryan, Scott?
None of these actors
He
were
was in the
it.
first Twister
Oh
also.
my goodness.
Maybe Pennywise got into the mother's head. Maybe that's why she offed herself. You know? You ever think of that?
We
You know
all
what?
flow down here.
You know,
I mean, listen, Jesus.
Does the thing take place in Derry?
No.
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 Yeah. as long
Wait,
as
wait,
it's not
okay, which one are
Maine.
you talking about?
Well, Black Flag. They never
It's
Black
say-
Flag?
Denver.
or-
Black
or
Flag?
Black Phone.
Black Flag. What is this, a Roach commercial?
Hey, it's a good pirate show.
Okay,
That's a band's
you're
name too.
talking
Yeah, Black
about
Flag.
if the Black Phone was
Killing
in
bugs. for
Yeah.
Derry. Is that what you're asking?
Well, I'm just wondering if it's in that same setting because, you know, Stephen King did put all of his movies in Maine. I mean, all of his movies took place in the same state.
No, this was in Colorado.
I was
Was it
saying, I
in
didn't,
Colorado?
I
Yeah,
didn't
this was
think
Colorado.
it was.
No, this
So-
was Colorado because they
Okay.
talk about Denver, you know.
Well, that director grew up in that era, in the suburb of
Right.
Denver.
Oh, well, there you go. That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, what you know. That's
But
what
you're
you
right.
know.
He does do a lot of films in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when all the young men are disappearing, so that was, you know, that's one of the things that you find out about, and they're making the announcements at the school, and you got the police at the,
And
they
you
have
know, there was things like that were happening a lot in the 70s. Remember, it was just starting to get this,
You hear about
this
it, yeah.
abduction
Closer
thing.
to the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, well, and this is set in what, 78? I mean, so
Yeah.
it was getting
An
close.
Because
uprise.
we always heard of a white van going around stabbing kids during Halloween.
But this,
Yeah.
but this was my thing. This was kind of a smaller suburb, you know. Did nobody see this one black van riding around with this guy dressed like a
Weren't
But if you-
Vans
I
with
mean, with a
stuff
bunch
like
of
that
black
pretty
balloons? I
popular
mean, you
back
think
then?
somebody would have said, "What the hell? There's that black van."
Well, but at
I
the
mean-
same time, it's not like he's a drifter. He lived in the town, probably been there his whole life.
Well, hey, there's
So they were used to seeing
there's
the
a-
van.
Used to seeing the van.
yeah, but there's a black van riding around with a guy with a mask on. Isn't that a little odd?
Okay, they
And then
did.
and then we got kids.
We didn't have
Did-
a mask on driving the van. He had like that makeup.
Well,
White
well, still,
makeup
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not like he wore the mask 24/7. It was only when he
No,
was
but
to
but
abduct
he
the
had
kids.
the hat on, and then he said, "I'm a magician." You know, he had all this stuff on.
Yeah, only to the kids. I'm pretty sure he looked different around like adults because towards the more of the movie, he goes into like a store. I'm pretty sure, and like he looks different. He looks like an
Right.
average guy.
But you'd think somebody would have said, "Look, this dude's driving around. There's kids missing.
They also
He's
did.
got makeup on.
But
He might be a
people
suspect."
weren't that intuitive.
When
back
kids
then.
are dropping left and right.
Well, they still
Well, they
have this-
didn't have a
If
suspect.
the guy
they
lived
didn't.
there for the last however many years, and you were used
Oh,
to
that's
seeing
just that
then
weirdo. You think?
Yeah, it's just
But
a
no,
weird
listen
guy.
to her. Go.
Oh, see, they didn't have a suspect. They only knew about the van and then black balloons that they never told anyone about. So
I don't
that's
think
why
they
they
knew
were.
about the van, even did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I was saying, I thought they knew about the
No,
van.
they knew about the man, didn't they?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I
talking
mean,
about
I don't
the van.
remember.
Or maybe it was
Yeah.
just the. But the
black
kid,
balloon.
the
It's
kids,
the
the
black
kid, the
balloons
kids
that-
knew about the
that
van.
they-
Remember, didn't they say
I don't
something about
think
the black
so.
man?
No, it was always about the balloons.
It's always the
It
balloons.
was the. I'm pretty sure it was
Okay.
the balloons.
And it was don't say the
Okay,
grabber's name.
my bad.
You know,
yeah,
that
don't
type
say
of thing.
grabber's name, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So like I don't think they didn't. What I'm trying to say is
No.
They didn't have a suspect. They didn't have anything like that.
Yeah, they were
So
really
it's
lost.
like that's why they were so confused. That's why so many kids took so long. Like so many of them were taken basically because they didn't really know, and it was like, what do you expect if they don't have a suspect? They don't have anything like that. That's just gonna keep happening until they
Right.
find the
I mean,
thing.
they had to
Does
go.
that kind of make sense?
Well, plus they had to
Right.
go as far to going to a little girl about her dreams.
Yeah,
Because
because
they had no
get,
idea.
Well, yeah,
to get a lead.
And honestly, when they started off, it really wasn't that. They thought she had seen it. You know, and that's
Right.
and that's when you really learn about how feisty the sister was, because she cusses those cops
oh
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
but-
okay, this girl ain't.
What are you
messing
saying?
around,
I'm the
you know?
grabber? Yeah, I'm going around,
Yeah.
kidnapping these
I'm
kids.
kidnapping
you know.
these boys, you know, and yeah. So she puts them in their place quick.
But the mask in this movie with Ethan, the mask they had on Ethan was the creepiest shit. I sat there and I watched it. I was like, "Holy crap!"
Do you know who created those masks for the movie?
who?
Tom,
Why? No, who did?
Tom Savini. You know Tom
Who?
Savini, right?
No, it's on my head.
That's still Don, the guy with the.
Sex
Oh,
Machine.
good
This-
gosh.
yeah.
He was
Oh,
an 80s special
my
effects. He
gosh.
created Jason
He's the one that
Voorhees.
did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
He
be
does the
darned.
mask for
Okay.
Isn't that cool?
Slipknot
Isn't
and
that cool?
Ghost now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the mask itself was really good because you get you because it was sectional and he
Mhm.
kept changing the different sections, so you knew kind of what personality you were
Oh
involved
yeah.
in, and
Oh,
so
I guess that's a good point.
Yeah.
So when it was just a lower mask, it was one person had kind of a different personality.
Ah.
Well,
It's
kinda like
maybe you're gonna get
Rorschach's
out or
mask.
not, you know.
That's a good point. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think I picked up on that, Shane.
Yeah, so
That's-
there's one
huh.
mask where there's no mouth. There's the mask where there's
Right.
the smiling face. There's the one where
Where
it's
it's like-
just the lower and not the upper mask. And then the real evil one was the full mask with the horns and the whole bit. And so that would change.
Dude, when that scene where that kid walked up to the top of the stairs and Ethan Hawke is sitting there with no shirt on and that full mask, and
In that belt.
and that belt in his
Oh,
hand,
man.
and he's just kind of, he's kind of moving that belt up.
What was that game called, Scott?
Huh?
What was the game
Naughty
called?
boy.
Naughty Boy. Oh,
That was the
God.
game.
Yeah.
You're a naughty boy.
And, yeah.
Your dog's going, "Arr."
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Not you, Gizzy.
Just says, no, I'm not.
but that is kind of the thing. You've got the different kids that the boy, and I can't remember his name right now.
Which one?
The main character.
It was
Finn.
Finney.
Yeah.
So so
Yeah,
Finn either knows or knows of the different kids, because the kids know who's missing and it sticks with them.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, because
And so yeah,
I was sorry.
Oh,
No, you go on.
yeah.
You go on.
so after his really kind of sounded like his only friend, because he had a bunch of bullies, and his friend just happened to be the tough kid that knew karate, who could defend him, and was always urging him to stand up for himself because he was going to have to do it at some point. And so while his friend didn't mind covering for him, he had his back. And then Finn would help him with his math homework and stuff, and they would talk movies. And, it was just like, it's cool that he had a friend to hang out with. So when he disappears, and now the bullies are loose, and they're coming after Finn, and then eventually, even when Finn gets kidnapped, after the bullies take care of, after his friend disappears, Finn gets attacked. He's just getting beat up, and his sister comes in with that rock and just beans that one kid upside the head.
Yeah,
she gets beat up.
I think it calmed him down because he was like, I'm done.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was
He didn't.
definitely stunned. And
Yeah, he didn't even
probably
go
had a
off. He
concussion.
didn't even go off with his other friends. He
he
just was
just-
sitting there
just
like,
sat there.
ooh,
Yeah,
cuckoo.
but you really see that protective dynamic of
Mhm.
his sister, and so
And what a
earlier-
great little actress she is.
Oh, I'll tell you what, she was
I mean,
amazing.
she was very good.
Everybody in
But-
that movie acted good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you see the father and he is spanking the daughter, telling her not to talk about her dreams,
Oh,
and he's got
man.
the belt, and Finn can only stand there and watch. He can't do anything. He can't help
Right.
her. And then you get to the scene where where his sister comes in to save him because he can't stand up for himself. He can't fight these
Right.
people off. And so you've got all these different people that are trying to show him what he needs to do, but he can't do it himself. And so when he gets taken, and that's really where the whole phone comes in, the black phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a phone that's downstairs, and it is in the basement where he's being held. And the phone will ring even though it's not connected. And that's when Ethan Hawke's character was just like, yeah, it rings. I think it's just the static electricity or something. I never hear anything on it.
Right.
You know, I listened to it once, didn't hear anything.
But one of the ghost kids tells Finn, he says, you can hear the black phone, and he can hear the black phone too. He just chooses to ignore it.
Yeah, he doesn't listen.
Yeah. Because those are the only two that are hearing the black phone.
I think that was either Griffin or Billy, I'm pretty sure.
That said that to Finn?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it was.
And then
it was Billy, yeah.
And then Vance, the blonde-headed kid, was the real rough one with him, being like, I don't remember exact lines, but the gist of it being like, he does horrible things to us, yada yada yada, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, so it's the real crux of the show is the fact that the phone rings and it's the different kids who've disappeared, and they're giving Finn advice on how to survive or escape, and what not to do. And so when Scott, when you're talking about him going up the stairs and Ethan Hawke is up there, basically when he goes to leave the first time and the phone rings because Ethan Hawke purposely left the door open.
Right.
And the phone rings and he stops and he goes back and he answers it and they're like, hey,
don't go up there. That's what he wants.
Right. And it's like, as long as you don't play the game, you don't lose the game.
Right.
And so he's
because that's the thing he gets off on more is them trying to escape and trying to leave.
Right. You're not doing what you're told. You're not doing this. And so, but when they tell him to, dig the hole to try to get out, all the different things, dig the hole in the dirt, underneath the tile or some dirt, fill that in. And he learns and he figures it all out. And he learns basically from the ghost what to do in order to escape.
Right.
And for me, that was excellent. But the one ghost of the kid that was like really angry.
That's Vance.
Vance, okay. Because, when you were talking about Vance was an interesting character.
He was.
Yeah.
He was like the delinquent kid out of all of them.
That's the one that was at the arcade game?
Yeah, and then he got taken away by the police.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, I can't remember if he, stabbed somebody or something like that. But, so he's the one.
No, he got it. I don't think it was stabbed, just brutally
that was him. That was her in the dream, seeing him
carve the
knife of the address on it, right?
Yeah. And so when Finn was just like, "Hey, thank you," because all these ghosts are trying to help him.
Yeah.
And Vance was the scary one because he came in. He was not a helpful spirit. He was someone who wanted revenge and he wanted that guy dead. And he's like, "You are my tool to kill this guy.
Well,
I want him."
He was an asshole in real life, and he's an asshole as a ghost.
Exactly.
I mean,
but it was.
We never met one of those.
It made it very tense, and it drove home because he was the last ghost. So he's like the ghost of Christmas future or whatever. But it's just like it's the one where he comes in and he lays it down. He's like, "This is it for you. This is it, buddy. You gotta pull your shit together, or else you're this is where you die." I guess he's not the last.
Yeah, no, I would say Robin was the last.
Robin's the last.
Which that kid, I was surprised that he was able to take that kid because he was such a tough kid and would fight.
That was a different one that he was fighting at the beginning. That was the
one that
I'm talking about Robin.
Robin.
Yeah.
My dumb, the dumb thing about that is like he walked towards the van, and I'm like,
well, he wasn't scared of anything.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. I mean? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he wasn't scared. But I was surprised that
the guy had that spray thing.
Well, yeah.
So
but I'm surprised he even let him get close enough to. I mean, what did Robin? He didn't look like a balloon kid to me.
Yeah, no. I mean, Vance didn't either. Vance, I'm pretty sure, actually fought the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Here's what do you think that the grabber's brother was a?
I was gonna say something about the brother.
Well, go ahead.
My thing is, out of all the people, the police didn't figure out anything. Nothing. No one knew. The wild thing is to me, before the sister even found out, it was his brother that found out. Because he was like, he had that map thing, he had everything. He wanted to help the police, and the police just dismissed him.
Well, he's kind of an idiot because it was right down in his basement.
No, but who would know?
Right?
No.
Who would know? It was the
Oh, it
brothers.
was the house across the street.
Well, okay.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
Well, that's where
no.
the bodies were.
That's where the
kid
bodies
was still
were.
in the basement.
Were the
Finn
brother
was in the basement. Yeah,
And he was...
but he was also a druggie, and so
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they throw the cocaine.
But did the
Yeah.
brother live in the house
No,
where Finn
no.
was, or no?
Well,
he,
okay.
he was staying there. He just
I will
showed up
say, yeah,
unannounced, I think.
he was, I don't know, he was staying at his brother's place for a while. And I'm pretty sure, heard about all this and started making a whole map because he was trying to explain to police, hey,
Okay.
I want to help you, yada, yada, yada. And I think when they saw, like, I'm pretty sure the drugs were out, he was like, oh, right, okay, kind of
Right.
like that.
That's why that cop said you might want to
Better
clean
clean
the
up.
place up
Yeah,
before your
clean
brother gets home.
Yeah.
Doesn't that imply that he's living there?
Well, yeah, because remember when Finn is down in the basement, he basically alludes that he's coming over, and he's like, "Oh, who's he?"
Oh, okay.
But my thing was, I was actually wondering for a little bit there. I don't know if you felt this way,
What?
but I was wondering if the brother was actually one of the different personalities that you just didn't know about. It kept crossing my mind that the brother may not have been a brother; it may have been him.
No,
and so
I
that's
never,
why I was never really sure.
Well,
I never
My
thought of it
thing-
because it didn't even look. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no real makeup or anything because they would have had to have made Ethan
Yeah.
Hawke up. That was too. I thought
I
it was
just
David
reading into it
Arquette
too
at
much.
first.
I was,
When,
Yeah.
I thought it was David Arquette, the actor.
the only reason why I say no to that is because it was like later on when he actually feels like, hey, I'm gonna get you out of here, yada yada, and his brother axes him in the head towards
Well,
the end and
yeah.
he falls.
That was pretty
I-
flippin' obvious at that point.
Yeah.
I just meant my initial reaction.
Yeah,
So
but he,
each brother had a house then.
No.
Would
No.
you stop it? Let her finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
but what I was gonna say was like the grabber was like, look what you made me did, yada yada yada, and he was really upset about killing his brother, but obviously he didn't want to get caught, so he kills his brother. It's like that's obvious where it's like I don't think that's a like hit that basing it on himself like what you were saying because that I feel like just wouldn't have made any sense.
Oh no! Like I said, it was pretty obvious. Just my gut reaction when you saw all the different personalities, and then you had the brother answer the door. Part of me was just like, "Is that just a different personality?"
Oh, I got you.
Thinking, is
is
where I was. But
Oh, okay.
but then when you saw Ethan Hawke with his shirt off, then of course you're like, "Okay, no, that's really not
Yeah.
it at all."
Yeah.
But the brother really was kind of there, and it was interesting because that's probably one of the things that saved Finn.
Oh,
Because
yeah, no,
it,
definitely.
it slowed the process down where he was able to, kind of make a plan.
But you have to, even though the guy's a little kind of a dork, but he found out, he figured out.
Yeah, he
because
really did.
after Grabber kills him, he goes, well, I guess I'm going to have to bury you with all the five that you were trying to figure out or something like that. So, I mean, he knew that, fuck, my brother's going to turn me in.
See, my thing is, I'm surprised he didn't do anything sooner about it. Because it was like,
Yeah.
if your brother's doing this in your house and you're seeing it and you're the actual person doing it, it's like, okay, what do I do?
But he
next?
was also a
Yeah.
druggie.
Well, and
It's got to make for some
Well, the
awkward
brother-
conversations.
he
at
didn't
dinner.
usually
Yeah.
let him downstairs, did he?
No, he
I mean,
didn't.
Yeah,
would-
That's
he
another
didn't.
thing I was going to
Yeah.
add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell he never went downstairs. Like he never.
Right.
he
Well,
was just
Ethan,
like, uh-oh.
Ethan Hawke probably told him he'd beat the shit out of him if he goes downstairs. He
Probably
probably
something like that.
probably
Yeah.
threatened him.
Wouldn't be
Sick that
surprised.
dog on him.
Yeah, that
Oh,
dog.
yeah,
was
the
that dog
dog.
not creepy? That looked like the dog that attacked Gizmo.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
But I will add one
Poor
thing.
Disney.
You were saying, like, oh, the names stick with the kids, yada yada. Finn, I'm pretty sure knew all of them. Because Bruce was the kid he played baseball with. Finn was there when Vance attacked that one kid.
Mhm.
Robin was obviously,
His
Finn's
new
friend.
And protector.
Billy was the paper boy, and I don't remember who Griffin was. That's the one person I can't remember.
Yeah,
Griffin.
But it was like,
but it wasn't necessarily people that he knew, but everybody knew of them, and that's why
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, you're the paper boy.
Oh, the paper boy.
And that's when that particular ghost got really offended. He's just like, I'm not that person, I'm the paper boy, and it's like that's what they were clinging to. And so one of the things that was interesting also is as the story progresses, the ghosts were kind of coming to him in a way that it's like the older ghosts were first. It's like they went in a line of how they were kidnapped.
Yeah.
And the ones earlier on knew less about themselves. And then the ones that were closer, like when his friend Robin actually calls him, he knows he's still who he is, and he's able to kind of communicate better and say, hey, buddy, you got to do this for me, and kind of walks him through.
I would say what I think you mean like the oldest ones.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, you said earliest. That's why I got confused.
Yeah.
The older ones, I think, lost their ways, and it's like they don't know their names. They don't know anything.
Yeah. The longer
but you think about it more. Yeah. The longer like Robin remembered, but like the first kids didn't.
Right.
Basically.
They've basically been in limbo or whatever longer.
Yeah, because they couldn't. So I can't remember who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you talked, like, one thing that I think, though, and I think many people that watched it and seen it agreed with this statement, it wasn't just the sister that was special. The boy was as well. Because the thing was, none of the other kids heard that phone ring, besides Finn. And
that's a good point.
it was like, he answered, one of the kids even said, like, none of us heard this, but you did. Like, none of them heard the phone ring when the others were trying to help the other kids.
So he had a little bit of his mom's gift as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And, we're talking a lot about Finn, but who was that actress that played the sister? Because she was really good.
Oh, so she was, yeah.
She
was
had
really good.
a bit of an intensity to her that you wouldn't expect from someone that age, and I thought she did an amazing job acting.
Her name's Madeline McGraw.
Madeline McGraw.
Is her name. Yeah, she's 16 years old.
Okay.
Incredible.
Yeah, I thought I was really, really impressed, and not to jump too much on that, but to me, one of the best parts of the movie was actually the very, very end when Finn comes walking out of the house that no one expected, and she's the one that sees him. And like runs up to him and gives him a hug.
Well,
I mean, that was more impactful of a moment.
You know what was weird? What is weird that you say that? When he first came out of the house, and nobody was paying attention to him, I thought, "Oh my God, this kid's dead." I thought he had been killed.
Yeah. Oh right.
And she's discovering the house.
Dude, that'd be kind of cool.
And he's I thought he was a ghost this whole time as he's talking on the phone because he's the only one that can hear it because he's dead. I thought it was going to be like a Sixth Sense type of a movie. And because nobody's...
Damn Shyamalan.
Yeah, nobody's noticing...
Well, see, they could have gone that way, or they could have gone the way where Ethan Hawke wasn't really dead and he came out and grabbed him, took him back into the house before anybody saw him or something like that. Which I'm glad they didn't do.
I would say that wouldn't have made
sense.
Did you ever think that he was dead?
Yeah, that's true.
No, I did not.
You didn't think... I thought, oh my God, this kid's dead.
But when he walked out and his sister saw him, I thought that was a hell of a good moment.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they really paid off that bond between the two.
Well, I thought she was the only one that was seeing him because he was dead, because of her ability. And none of the other detectives were seeing him at first because I thought it was a Sixth Sense type of deal.
I think...
if you notice when Ethan Hawke, not to go back to this, but when Ethan Hawke first... kidnapped Finn, and he brings him down to the bed. He calls him Johnny. He calls himself Johnny. Did you notice?
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that? And we were talking about this earlier, me and Dave, and it's actually based on a real case where a paper boy ended up disappearing, and they've never found him to this day. And his name was Johnny. So they kind of based this on that true story. And it was, where was it, Dave? Was it Iowa or Ohio?
Iowa, I think. I believe it happened in '82 or something like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There is one thing that kind of upsets me about the ending, though, that I really think they should have done this, but they obviously couldn't have. Robin's actor had to leave early on, like in the set for something. I don't remember what it was, but the original ending, I'm pretty sure, was supposed to be Robin lived with Finn. Like, he survived. And he would have made it out with him. Which, in my opinion, makes a little bit more sense, because Robin's a tough kid. I mean, so was Vance, but, Robin had that thing where it's like his father was dead, you know, stuff like that. He's a tough one. He's really tough.
Right.
And it's definitely showing with his fighting skills as well. So I feel like if the kid would have stayed on set, but he obviously couldn't have, it would have made the ending a little bit more happier. Which I obviously know that not all movies can have a happy ending. But I genuinely, like, that's what I thought when I was younger. When I figured that out, I was so upset. I don't know if it was just because I loved Robin's character, but, like,
We all love Robin's character.
That's probably one of the reasons that he did get killed. Because he was so strong. And Ethan Hawke probably killed him pretty quickly because he was going to try to fight him.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the reasons that he died off is you got to go back to basic storytelling where your mentor character dies.
Yeah,
the mentor
that's
character
true.
comes along, trains the new character so that they can overcome the obstacle in front of them, but they got to do it by themselves. So that's where that character has to die in order to allow him to be better.
Obi-Wan Robin.
Yeah, it kind of is.
One thing I do want to mention before we close out is
Oh,
when
we can't close out yet because I
when-
got another huge point to make. But
No, that's
we
cool.
don't. We
Oh,
can
yeah,
close
I
it
do.
out.
That's okay.
No,
We
I really
can
do.
let's get through it.
So I like talking.
Okay.
Hey, I like
But what were
this
you
movie. I like talking
Yeah,
about it. I
well-
don't have others to talk about it
what were
with.
you gonna say, Dave?
Let me have my happy time.
But we might have to be talking about the same thing, so go ahead with the big nugget.
Well, no. For me, when I was watching the movie and not knowing that it was Stephen King's son, I kept thinking about all the parallels to Stephen King movies.
That's what we're
Thank
saying.
You have the black balloons instead of the red balloon from It. You have the ghosts that come back and, try to warn people or tell people things. You have the snarling, snapping dog, which you could go back to like Cujo. You have the brother who figures out what's going on, comes down to the rescue, and takes an axe.
Misery.
Not necessarily Misery, but The Shining. When the one guy shows up
With
after
the
all that
Scat
time,
Man.
and as soon as he gets there, he gets the axe. And, so I was sitting there watching the movie, pulling all these Stephen King references in my head, and going, this is like a really well done amalgamation of Stephen King movies. And then when you guys said that it was his son at the beginning, that's the first that I'd heard of that.
Same.
Also,
I mean, I
yeah.
had never heard of it either.
And so all those parallels, I was just like, he's kind of ripping off his dad.
What a plagiar.
But he did it in such a good way.
was like,
So it's like, but it was still original.
like,
It was
he
still
didn't
good.
make-
What
He
a
didn't make it
plagiarizing
into, like-
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He didn't make it to where it was too obvious, though. either.
No.
But it was just like small little things that if like you knew, you've watched the movies, you've done all that, you would have like noticed. But like for someone that didn't know it was Stephen King's son, it was like you probably wouldn't notice it.
Oh, actually, I noticed it
Well, okay, yeah, I know
because
your
it wasn't
point.
Stephen King.
I didn't notice
But I
shit.
think-
I didn't either, but I mean more or less like
Well, I think because in short story form, it's easier to pull pieces.
Yeah.
And I think that once you put it on film, I think it becomes more noticeable because of the visual references. But no, what a excellent movie. Absolutely excellent movie. Very well executed. Great directing, great character development,
Yeah.
wonderful acting.
Absolutely.
My point that I was going to bring up is every time he's talking to the ghost children, and then the camera would turn and you would see their body. Like
that was
Yeah,
a
they're
drive
pretty-
me
that
nuts.
was so creepy, and it got creepier with each one.
I think the most terrifying one, I agree with him for sure. I don't know your name, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's Shane. I don't know.
Shane,
my name
okay.
half the time.
I agree with him on this. I think Vance was definitely
Oh, that was
the
creepy.
scariest one because it was like, yes, Billy's I will say was also really
Was that the
good.
one that was upside down?
That was Griffin. Griffin.
That one's the
Griffin
creepiest. That
is
to me
very-
was the creepiest.
I think more because Vance was like a vengeful spirit. He's gonna be more violent, or he was violent in real life, or not real life, like when he was alive. It's gonna be the same way when he's in death, but worse. So it was like when when he yells, and I'm pretty sure he goes flying backwards because of how loud he yells, and Finn's just there like freaking out because it's like his ears ringing, stuff like that. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. And the
Okay.
bottles smashing against the wall.
He's like, you
Favorite-
better
Yeah.
do something to that guy, or I'm going to come back and haunt you.
Favorite character in Black Phone for you?
I'm gonna have to either go with Robin or Vance.
No, I said favorite character, not characters. One.
It's 50-50. I don't know.
Pick one. Robin or...
Is this like a Team Jacob, Team...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, think about it.
Yeah,
Favorite,
go to
favorite
someone else.
character, Shane.
The sister.
The sister, okay.
Yeah, just purely on the acting. That gal was excellent. I am real curious to see what she does in the future. And if she's actually involved in the next movie, that'd be cool. But if not, look for something else.
Favorite character.
I gotta go with Before Sunrise, Ethan Hawke, baby. It's
I'm
like
with-
you said.
Yeah.
We've never seen him do something like that before. Act that way.
I'm the same way. He's my favorite character.
I mean, this is a guy from Explorers. I mean, who would have thought Nicky B is such a good serial killer? I mean, oh my god.
Gattaca.
Yeah, Gattaca.
Vance or Robin?
I'm gonna have to go with Robin.
Okay.
You take the phone, step back, step
Yeah.
I loved it.
step forward,
I loved it.
swing.
And I just got
pack it with dirt, and I'm just sitting there, because I was like, oh, that's a really good idea.
Dude,
Yeah.
I got sad because he was like, "This is the last phone call you're gonna
Yeah, that made
Yeah.
me really sad.
get. It's all on you."
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So yeah, it's a movie, great story, good family element to it, even though it's a dysfunctional family. Got some real scary scenes, some visually scary scenes. You get a really nice redemption arc with the kid, and now when he walks into school, he's the confident kid. The bullies are scared of him.
Yeah, they're
because
scared of
what he
him.
did to
Like
the
that dude
killer.
killed.
And so you see that whole character development in him, but you also see the bond between the brother and the sister. It's probably stronger than it was before.
Just like the satisfying ending where it's like the phone rings, the guy realizes it. When he's being strangled by the phone, he hears like the kids' voices
That was
talking
so
to
cool.
him,
Yeah.
and it was just like afterwards. I'm pretty sure he just slams the phone over and over against the guy's head. Does he not? I'm pretty sure.
He kinda
Or
chokes him
no,
out,
he
and then- and
no,
then you
no,
see
he
him just
strangles
leave,
him.
Yeah.
He strangles him.
I think
I
it
don't-
would have been better if Finn was dead at the end.
Oh,
You stop
wow,
like that.
okay.
My
Like I
God,
said.
it's Sixth Sense Part 2.
Yeah,
Well-
I just think that
Jeez.
would have been a better.
I don't
better
think
ending.
I'd like it then, because it
Yeah.
was like
And then you could have Black Phone 2, Finn's Revenge.
Oh,
You know?
God.
that.
Be like-
Then I would pass on that.
All right, but yes, we do recommend, highly recommend the Black Phone.
My only thing
It's
is, I
great.
probably shouldn't have brought up immediately. Oh hey, Finn kills him,
What's
because
wrong?
you say it immediately after, like, hey, go watch the film, and I'm like, I just said
The movie is so good, even if you know what's going on,
Listen,
you
this
will
thing's
still
been out
love it.
since
Oh, yeah.
2021. If it's
That's
taking
true.
you this long, if it spoils it for you, who cares? You know?
Oh, so yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're even listening to this, it's like, you probably should have watched it before
So-
doing.
The same. By the way, if you have seen Black Phone and you liked it, this director and Ethan Hawke did a movie together called Sinister.
Yeah, it's Scott Derrickson.
Oh,
That's a good one.
yeah.
Scott Derrickson is the
Yeah.
guy's name.
There you go.
So we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
If
let
you-
us know what you think of the movie.
Please,
too.
if you like this video, subscribe, like. If you have any
Leave a comment.
questions,
Share it
comments,
with your friends.
concerns, email us at spitballcinema@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So
We
this
wanna-
is Spitball Cinema.
We want to thank Peyton for coming in and Shane being back and Scott, F you.
Scott
and,
being Scott.
we love you. We hope you have a good week. So thank you guys. This is episode 1 of season 2.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is
Bye-bye.
Dave,
One in the can.
Peyton, Shane, Scott signing off for
Yeah.
Spitball Cinema. Thank you, folks.
Bye bye.
Bye.